welcome back to Libib's channel. My name is Kaylin and welcome to today's video where I'm bringing you yet another bookish video. I do have one thing to say before I start the video, and that is thank you to everyone. We finally reached 900 subscribers on this channel and it's just so awesome and cool, and I just want to throw confetti and eat cake and celebrate and everything. So I wanted to thank each and every one of you watchers, subscribers, commenters, likers, any of you guys out there. Thank you so much for commenting and liking and subscribing and being part of Libib's booktube channel now that we're 900 subscribers strong, and just thank you so much. Anyways, let's get on with today's video where I'm doing a book unhaul. And last year I went through my entire bookshelves and I got rid of books I had read that year that I knew I was never gonna reread. So this year I did the same exact thing. I've just been in this cleaning, decluttering kind of mood where I'm just getting rid of books that I know that I'm never going to read or that I have read that I'm never going to reread, and just books that have been with me that I still didn't realize I had. As being an adult, less is more. So this is just like the decluttering book haul. Let's get to it. So the first two books I'm going to be mentioning are books I read during the Cramathon last December, and that is Daniel Radcliffe, No Ordinary Wizard by I don't know who this was. 10-year-old Kaylin would have loved this, or 9-year-old Kaylin, whatever. Young Kaylin would have loved this book. Older Kaylin read it and was just like, okay, cool, whatever. So I'm getting rid of that. And the next book is Twilight, the graphic novel by Stephanie Meyer and Young Kim, who did the art and adaptation to this. I thought this was the entire Twilight book in graphic novel form, but there's one volume and then there's 2 volumes. Kind of messed up on that one. I did not like the graphic or the art style in it. Next book is Ashes to Ashes by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. I really enjoyed the first book. Second book, did not like it at all, and I thought that if I would pick up the third book, and I don't think I picked it up in time, because once I picked this book up and bought it, I was like, yeah, I'll get to it like over the summer, last summer. Yeah, that didn't happen, and I've completely lost interest. I don't care about the characters, the plot, or anything. Next up is an author that's in my town called Sherry something. This Sky I know is her book. It's poetry, but I never really had any interest in it. My mom bought it and had it signed for me, but I just, it's not my type of book, so I'm not gonna be picking it up anytime soon. Next up is an arc that I got at BookCon, which was One Paris Summer by Denise Schwank. They were having an in-booth signing too for it, but didn't even get it signed, and it's an arc, and contemporary is not really my thing at all anymore, so I'm getting rid of it. Next up is the most not only disappointing, but the worst read of 2016, and that was The Merciless 2 by Danielle Vega. This book was just one big, hot, nasty mess and didn't make sense, and I just thought it was so unnecessary, and even though it's super cold and pretty and has deckled edges, I'm getting rid of it because I will never ever reread this book ever. And what's a book on haul without mentioning Caracas? And this is a Siren. I read this book last summer in 2016, and I didn't like this book whatsoever. The reason why I bought this book was because the main character had the same exact name as me. Pronounced the same, spelt different. And that's the only reason why I picked this book up, and I thought I'd give mermaids a try because I absolutely love The Little Mermaid, and every time I watch that movie I cry through the entire thing. So I was like, I might like this, and did not like it, and don't have any plans to reread this book or pick up any of Cass's work in the near distant future. Next up is Shatter Me by Tara Mafi, and I am never gonna reread this book. I'm keeping the second and third installment in the series. I want to reread those, but I don't know if I will ever get to, so I'm keeping them. Plus they also have a beautiful, gorgeous cover, but definitely getting rid of this one. Also, the cover is not the prettiest cover ever, so I'm just gonna get rid of this and keep the other 2. Next up is another poetry book that I did not know that I still had, and this was A Knight Without Armor, Poems by Jewel. She is an artist, I think. I have no idea. My language arts teacher mentioned her once at one point, and that's why I picked up this book. And next up I have The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. I read this a long while ago, and I absolutely loved and enjoyed it when I read it. It was so heartbreaking and so sad, and like, oh, it was such a good book. Absolutely highly recommend having this book, but I don't think I could ever put myself through rereading this book again because it was just so sad. And just next book I got for free at a garage sale, and I have no interest in ever reading this. I tried like the first couple of pages and then I was like, I don't care, this is just not for me. This is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. I was going to read it because a friend recommended it to me, but yeah, I don't like this and I could care less for this book. Next up is the Divergent motion picture, no, gosh darn it. Divergent official illustrated movie companion. I'll probably look through this a couple of times because I got some color photos and stuff, why not, before I get rid of it, but I have no interest in keeping this. I absolutely love Divergent, loved reading that series, but the whole movie franchise went to crap. I have still not watched Insurgent because I heard how horrible it was and how it was like nothing like the book, so therefore Divergent phase is over with. Dark copy that I got at the place I used to work at, and it is Replica by Lauren Oliver, and getting rid of this book because I've never been a fan of Lauren Oliver. I just got the ARC because I thought it was cool to have on my shelf, but am I ever gonna read this? No. Next up is Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. I originally got this with the Twilight graphic novel. Will I ever read this? Probably not, but it just doesn't interest me anymore. Next book that I read was Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. I didn't like this installment. I did, however, love Clockwork Angel and I need to read Clockwork Princess, but I didn't like this book, so goodbye. Next up is a horror thriller duology, and that's Welcome to the Dark House and Return to the Dark House by Loris Dolores. Really enjoyed this book, 4 out of 5 stars, and then the sequel, then the sequel just went to crap. What I've learned last year was if you read a good horror thriller novel, do not pick up the sequel. It's just not worth it. And next up is another book that I just recently purchased and read in the month of January, and that is The 100 Rebellion. I'll cast more in. I'll get more into this like thoughts and feels and opinions of this in my January wrap up when I post that, but was not a fan and I don't need this book anymore. And the last book that I have is The Cellar by Natasha Preston. This was also another book that I got at BookCon this year. I went to pick this up the other day and I got to the second page, and this is what it says. I wasn't modeled pretty or Playboy sexy, and I didn't have bucket loads of confidence. Basically, I was screwed and downright lucky that Lewis was so blind. I can't do those sort of books anymore, and I can't read books like that anymore. It just turned me off. Well, anyways, that is it for my book unhaul. Those are all the books that I'm currently unhauling. What have you guys recently unhauled? And anyways, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with a new video.